Hi everyone, Sid here back in the bathroom ready for another shaving rant. Before I get into today's topic, there are two things I want to mention. First of all, I have a few more zits than I'd like to have, so I'm going all out chemical warfare on my face again, which is why today's lather will be supplemented by tea tree oil, lavender, and peppermint. And the other thing I want to mention is, as I begin this way of lathering, I noticed that the few times that I've shaved without filming myself, I wouldn't have so much lather overflowing over the edge of this bowl, because the way that I usually do it is to count the strokes. And now you'll notice that I'm kind of doing triplets of strokes, and I've already lost count of how many triplets that I've done, but there's already less overflow, so I think that's working well. So that's enough of that. Today's topic, I'd like to continue the topic that I started last time on schooling versus education. Now, I know that I said that I might get into a definition of schooling versus education, but I haven't really done enough research to give a good definition. However, there is a principle that I picked up recently in a book that I was reading, that I would like to share with you, because even though if the test I'm about to give you fails, it doesn't necessarily mean that what's happening is schooling. However, it's a great way to have a clue onto what education is happening. So it's a really simple concept. My face feels a little dry. I'm gonna wet it a bit. The concept is really simple. Schooling, no. Wow. Let me start over. Curiosity precedes education. So intuitively it kind of makes sense, in the sense that when in your adult life, after the schooling has been completed with you, when you want to learn something, you kind of have to have an interest in it, and then you'll go and find sources and study for it, and you'll basically have your own structure, like what in libertarian circles is sometimes called self-directed education. And you'll notice that in grade school and high school, the schools that are based on the Prussian model that I talked about in the last video, it's not really what happens. What you'll find are a lot of these Pavlovian techniques that are used, like the bells, and it's less pronounced in grade school than in high school, because in grade school you spend the entire year in one room, but the concept is kind of similar in both, in the sense that you have these topics that are peppered throughout your week in a predetermined schedule, and when the bell rings, you pack up your shit, and in high school you go to another place where you learn about another topic. So this also happens in grade school, in the sense that instead of moving to another room, you pack up your shit, the stuff that you need, you put it in your desk, and then you take out the shit that you'll need for the following course. So the illustration that I have of this, and I think it'll be obvious, but it's not like exhaustive. It's not like an authoritative representation of the typical child's high school experience. But I think that most of the people watching this video who have gone through high school, which is basically everyone who wasn't homeschooled or didn't go to some alternative schools, which mainly exist, will be able to relate to this illustration. I'll just lather up my mouth and be back. So I'd like to take you through this hypothetical teenager named Timmy's day, or at least a segment of his day. And I'm going to be playing the role of basically any adult in Timmy's life at that moment. So let's say Timmy's in recess or whatever. I think they still, yeah, we had recess in high school, I think. Or did we? I don't remember. It's been too long. So basically, let's say Timmy is in the locker, in the hallway drawing on his book. He likes to draw. And some adult comes up. Obviously, these are all caricaturized, but you'll get my point. I'm just going to go in it. So the adult says, "Hey, Timmy, that's a nice drawing you got there. What is that? That's a rocket ship? Ooh, that's great. Now, shut the fuck up. Go to room 3A because it's time for math class." And after 45 minutes of class, after 45 minutes of math class, or however long a typical period lasts, it's like, "Hey, Timmy, that's good. You have some questions about your math. I see you're really fascinated, but the bell just rang, so shut the fuck up, pack up your shit, go to room 2F because it's time for English class." Why? Because shut up, that's why. And if you just had an emotional reaction to me saying, "Because shut up, that's why," hopefully there'll be time at the end of this video for me to come back to that. So, let's say Timmy really doesn't like English class, even though he likes math class. So he's caught doodling in his book because, hey, when he has some spare time, he likes to draw. So the English teacher will say, "You know, Timmy, stop drawing in your book, or else I'm gonna have to write you up and you'll get detention or whatever." Why? Because shut up, that's why. Have you ever noticed that teenagers typically ask why a whole lot less than toddlers and young children do? That's part of why I love children so much, because they're so unprogrammed. Unprocessed is probably a better term, because as I mentioned in my last video, the schools that are based on the Prussian model, which is basically every school almost, they're like factories that take young curious children and poop out obedient taxpayers basically. So Timmy finally finishes his English class, and then now we don't need to tell him to shut the fuck up, because he's probably spent a lot of that time being told that in the English class. But now it's time for gym class, and Jimmy loves that. And basically, yeah, actually, you get the idea. I don't really need to go through the whole day of the whole segment that I had planned here. It's really not that important. I'll be right back. So basically, when you spend like 10,000 hours at an influenceable age going through this kind of schedule, there are two common reactions that children and teenagers will take. One of them is to rebel and become this kind of rebel without a cause of what are you rebelling against? What do you got? I never saw that movie, but I hear that's the line in that movie. And the other common reaction, I'm not saying there are just two, but these are the two most common ones that I can think of, is if you're not going to rebel, you basically accept that all in all, you're just another brick in the wall, and you kind of become this passive order follower. And you know, like in my experience, I had good grades in high school and grade school, and I think that I paid dearly for the good grades that I had in high school, because like a couple of the jobs that I've been fired from cited lack of initiative as a reason for firing me, and I think they were right. And just to be clear, I'm not blaming schools for this these experiences, because I think that no matter what happened in your childhood, after a certain age, which isn't the same for everyone, but after a certain age, you're entirely responsible for what happens to you, which is why if a serial rapist is caught and brought to court, no one would accept, but I was raped as a child, as an excuse. But all that being said, when you spend 10,000 hours at an influenceable age, learning that basically you're at the mercy, so much of your fate depends on the opinion of the authority figure in front of you. When you want to succeed in that, a strategy that can be used, and I think that's what I did, was to basically sit the fuck down, shut the fuck up, and wait for the commands of the person, the authority figure at the front of the room. And as I said in my last video, I feel extremely fortunate to have graduated high school with my desire to learn still intact, because both the rebels and the bricks in the wall, they go through this period being taught that this is what learning is, this is what education is, and it's so not that. Because again, in Timmy's math class or English class, like, Timmy was being educated in math class because he was curious, he was interested in it. He would have spent more than 45 minutes doing it. But, you know, the bell rang, so get the fuck out of here, go to English class. But he wasn't being educated at all in English class. That would be combined with the Pavlovian bells and the out of context subjects that are peppered throughout his day, more akin to schooling. By the way, today's aftershave will be pro Razo White. So, what can I say? Yeah, basically, when you become a brick in the wall, you tend to just sit around waiting for the authority figure to tell you what to do, which caused problems in some of my previous jobs. But I think that, you know, again, it's never too late, and I think that the key distinction is to really remember that what happens in high school and grade school, for the most part, is not really education, because kids are not the clients of school. If the clients of the public schooling system were children, it would be completely different, because we would actually care about what their needs are instead of just imposing shit upon them without actually explaining why it's important to them. And yeah, let me come back to the because shut up, that's why. I'll tell you something. Because I said so is a fallacious non-argument, okay? So when you answer any question with because I said so, you're being a fallacious prick, you're being a dick. In the presence of coercion, you're being evil. And yeah, so that is also true if you euphemize that by saying because such and such other person said so, or because those are the rules. That's a nice euphemism that is often euphemized even more by the word that's the law, which is why I like using the term code violation when the law is victimless and harms no one. So yeah, I mean, when Timmy is asking when he is why he has to leave math class and go to English class, by saying because that's the way it goes, or because that's the way it's set up, or because those are the rules, are nice ways of saying because shut up, which I believe is why, for the most part anyway, teenagers tend to ask why a lot less than the toddlers and young children and stuff like that. So that'll be it for today. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, share. You can leave comments under this video. My Tumblr is set up, so on Twitter I'm at SidRockMTL. My Tumblr is sidrock.tumblr.com. There'll be links to all these right under this video. You can subscribe on YouTube, please. That would help me a lot. You know, follow me on Twitter and Tumblr and all that shit. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video, which will be quite soon, I hope. You take care.